Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pontiac Power Hour. I am Buff from Buff's Garage, and next to me
is Ray from Pontiac LeMans Garage.
That's right. And tonight we have a special guest coming to you. But before we do that, we're going to hit up our chat to see who's hanging out in the live chat. And as normal, we got Hunter, Mr. Sand Mountain Ballistics with the Poncho Power. We can't have Mopar without Tim. We got Tim Mopar. ASO is in the chat. Colleen Tebow, Unfinished Project. Danny Boyd. Let's see. Mongrels all the way from snowy Canada. We got a new one in here. Slingshot 302. Welcome to the show. We haven't seen you before, but welcome. Glad to have you. Terry is the man. That's why we got him here for you tonight. Testa Speed Shop in the house. Mr. Polo C4 putting out the content so he can get 500 subs to go to No Name Nationals. And let's see who else we got. We got Hunter just filling up the chat. All right, Pure Pontiac Garage is here. JB's Little Shop is here. A Cove, haven't met you. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And oh my gosh, it is John Wilburn, the man, the myth, the legend, the head of the AHRA No Name Nationals. We got Flat Tires and Misfire, one of my personal favorites. You want to see a Power Stroke in a Pontiac, that's the channel you need to go to. Ugly Truck Experience is here. And I think we're caught up. So welcome, guys. We do have this special guest on our show. If you don't know him, you need to check him out. His name is Terry, better known as Terry LSX or Coverman66. We're going to welcome him to the show. Hello, Terry.
What's happening, gentlemen? You know what? I got to tell you guys something. Okay, I'm happy to be a part of this. You had my boys on here not too long ago. You had Mike Finnegan. And I was like, oh, where's my call? And then you had Richard Holdner. I was like, Richard, where's my call? So now I got on. So I'm thrilled. And they don't have Pontiac.
You got to get a Pontiac to sneak into the Pontiac Club.
Yeah. And so I figured, let me go get this LeMans and maybe they'll give me back a phone call. And I'm glad I did.
That's all you had to do was pick you up a Pontiac and you're in. So all of the other YouTube channels that want to slip in and join our show, just get a Pontiac. You only have to own it for one YouTube episode, but we'll let you come join our show. We want to welcome you. But yeah, old Mike Finnegan, we had a good time with him at Christmas. We had Steve Magnanti for Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving Day, that man came to join our show.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
He's a smart dude.
Kevin Junkyard Diggs came.
Yeah,
we got good guests in here. But now we got Terry, the one and only.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm just gonna tell you, Coverman66 sounds like a rock band. Like Power Man 5000.
Yeah, it's weird how that name came up. Well, we've got an hour, I guess I can tell you. I was doing I used to be a hip-hop artist. A lot of people don't know that. I used to be a hip-hop. Yeah, a lot of people. I used to be a hip-hop artist, and I was the guy in the back with the turntables. All right.
Oh, all right.
Now, my stage name used to be Undercover. Right. And I started making beats for other groups. So I was producing music as well. And I was like, I got to get a DBA name. So I went to the town and I was like, okay, I want Coverman Productions. I'm sorry, Undercover Productions. And it was taken. And so they gave me a bunch of names and I saw that Undercover. I was like, Coverman. I was like, Coverman Productions. I like the way that sounds. So I was Undercover Man Productions. So I had to go home and get an email address. And that was back when AOL was big. So I was typing up, like Undercover Productions. Again, it was taken. And so I was like, okay, Coverman Productions, taken. And then they had a bunch of names and, they Coverman 4735 or whatever, such and such. And I saw Coverman 12. I was going to go with that. But then I was like, Coverman 66. That's cool because my birthday is 12/12. And so 66, it just flows a lot better,
There you go.
So that was how the name comes up.
Plus,
That's
I
cool,
love
man.
that hoodie you were wearing at PRI that's got the Route 66 and it says
Yes.
Coverman 66. That is just awesome. Great marketing, perfect logo. Love it.
I was always looking for a logo, and the thing is, it's I believe in sometimes less is more.
Yep.
And that's just a black and white. It's just a sign. Just take out Root and put Coverman in there, and it works. And a lot of people want swag, so I got to start thinking about getting some more shirts made up.
Yeah. I would definitely buy the Coverman 66 shirt just like you had. That was awesome. I love it.
I appreciate that.
Let's see. We got Sean's Garage in the chat coming in. Dudes with Wrenches, who just hit 100,000. He said he missed the memo on having a Pontiac. Well, dudes, you are always welcome. You're one of us that came up through the ranks, and you have more cars than we could ever count. So one of them has to be Pontiac related. Maybe it hit a Pontiac, got a little Pontiac on it. I don't know. It's fine.
Well, yeah. Any Pontiac, it could be. What about at this point under the GM umbrella? How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
Sean's Garage. What's up, man? What's up, Sean? How you doing, buddy? He's a good guy.
All right. So obviously, you wanted this 69 Le Mans. Really, you wanted a GTO. So kind of tell the audience how you, if they haven't seen your video, how you came about getting this car to begin with.
All right. I was just, like in the Facebook marketplace. And I was, like, let me see if there's any Le Mans or GTOs out there. And there was one, and it was about maybe 30 miles away from me. And it was snowing, so I couldn't go see it. But I called the person up, and, the lady was like, a couple of people came by, they looked at it, but they weren't serious, whatever, such and such. And I was like, well, let me go up there. So it was on the Thursday. I said, I'll come up there Saturday morning. Went up there Saturday morning, and I saw it, and I was just like, it's a little rough, but I mean, it's all there, And I was like, got the engine still in there and everything. And she told me the story, how the car hadn't ran since '96. That's the last time it was registered, but they would drive it because it was up in the mountains of Middletown, New York. And so they would drive it around and all that. So the last time it was really just sat was probably '97. And she said she has to get rid of this car because her son is in the military. It's his car, but he's in the military, and she's about ready to move. She has to have this car out by next week, else it's going to the crusher.
Right.
And I was just, I can't let that happen. And so I went back the following week. And the funny thing is, the son, I guess she was telling the son the story about the guy who came here and all this. And so apparently what she said was, I was talking to my son, and I told him that this guy who looks like Muhammad Ali came over and looked at the car. And he was putting two and two together. And she goes, was his name Terry? He goes, I think so. And then he sent a picture of me, from off Facebook or Insta or wherever. And she goes, yeah, that's him. That's what came by. And the son was like, Ma, don't sell the car. Just give the car to him. And she goes, why? He said, because I was fixing the car using some of his videos, and it'll be kind of cool for him to just take the car and fix it up. And so I go back up there, and she said, you must have had some type of impression on my son because he said to give you the car. And I was just like, I can't take the car. I said, no, you got to take the car. Just take the car. I'm giving it to you. I was like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take the car, but I'll donate money to your son. How's that? Way around it. So I think they wanted $2,500 for their car. And I was prepared to give, offer like 15 or whatever it was, because like I said, it's rough. And I wound up taking it, for a little under 1,000. And this is for your son. Just give him the money, please, and tell him thank you for his service. And so that's how I got the car. And it was a rough time trying to get that car because it was like in the ground and it was on a hill. And we had to get a guy with a tractor I knew I wasn't going to use that nose, but now I'm starting to like the LeMans nose.
Mm-hmm.
So
it grows on you.
Yeah, it grows on you. And so he had to take his tractor and kind of push it, and it moved and it rolled down the hill. We cut the wheel and we put it in a tow truck, and here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story, and to know what you have planned for it, it's pretty exciting too, because yes, I know there's going to be people that will in our chat blow up about this, but your name isn't Terry LSX because you keep everything Pontiac powered. So
no.
You are going to go LS in that, but tell us a little bit about what your plans are.
Well, the plans are to get the car driving around and drive it with
run under its own power.
Under its own power, because like I got it started and it still needs some work as far as the brakes didn't work.
Right.
So that's why I didn't take it out. But we're working on that now. Matter of fact, I just hooked up with a couple suppliers, one of which is Ames. I just hooked up with them. They're now what's called a partner, and they said whatever sheet metal you need, let us know. And them boys were quick because I gave them a list on Tuesday, and stuff came to my door today. And the quarter panels are going to the body shop and the trunk. So every piece of metal that I need, I got.
Nice.
And yeah, it's nice.
And you got partners like that jump in and go, "Hey, I've got exactly what you need."
They saw the car, and these guys are really passionate about Pontiacs. Everyone in this Pontiac chat room, they probably had a part come from Ames at some point because they're the number one dudes when it comes to Pontiac.
Yep.
And so for them to reach out and we can work together, that's cool. And I want to give a big shout out to a couple of my other suppliers, Boss Hall Converters, Aeromotive, QA1, Holly, and these guys, they see the videos and for some reason they say, "Hey, let's work with Terry." And I really appreciate it. That's just a few that I've been blessed to work with. And it's a channel that started out to try to help people overcome problems that I found when I was installing LSs. And, it got to the point where now I'm talking to people such as yourself, going to PRI and meeting the people that I used to look at and be like, wow, these guys are out there. And it's been a blessing. And anytime I see someone who's really like, "Hey, Terry, I saw your video and we really appreciate it," that just makes me, really feel good and know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I agree. Being fairly new to YouTube myself, putting out the videos I wanted to put out, I was finding that I was struggling a little bit. And then all of a sudden it kind of took off. And then I go to certain events and people are like, "Man, I've been watching your channel for the last year and I really love what you did with this, or I love what you did with that." And I'm going, wow, people are actually watching. Like they're
people, they watch. Yes.
And, with you, I had been watching you for a while because of the LS stuff. And then all of a sudden I see a little knock at your door and you end up hanging out with, one of the biggest YouTubers out there right now. And I watched that whole series of you putting LS in the cat farm crew cab.
That was fun. I mean, and that, going back before we start with that, the whole thing is when you start in a YouTube channel, you got to do it from your heart. As far as, there's a lot of people who I want to do it to make 1 million subscribers and do that. And that's all well and good. And sometimes these people, they hit lightning in a bottle and it happens.
Yep.
But for the most YouTubers that really are passionate about what they do, like yourself, it might take a little bit of time, but you keep on doing the videos. And what most people don't understand is for every 4-minute video, 4 minutes that you put out, when it comes to shooting the video, creating the video, thinking about the video, editing the video, and then re-editing the video, you're looking at for every 4 minutes, you're looking at like maybe 20, 30 hours. And that's the part that people don't know. And you got to put the music to it, to try to find the right music. So it takes a little bit longer to finish a project when you do it like that. And, it's things that we like to do, and that's why I try to put every video out. And even after I finish a video, I will live with it for about 2 days, because you're always thinking after you put a video out, oh, I should have done this.
Yep.
But I live with it for about 2 days, and if I feel that I can't change it, it's the best that I got, I'll let it fly.
Yep. And that's been a big thing that I tried to push a lot of people to understand, is especially our new channels. We had a lot of guys that are just now coming up. They want to go to No Name Nationals, which is an annual event.
You told me about that.
Yep. YouTube content creators. It's Sykeston, Missouri, September 21st through 23rd. These guys are trying to get to 500 subs. And, it really comes down to this. Get a phone, point it, shoot it, take video. But then, like you said, it takes time. So let's say you want to put an alternator in an 85 Chevy. It may take you 20, 30 minutes to do it normally, but you're shooting it for YouTube. So expect 2 or 3 hours just to put this thing in, get the different angles, get the, talking just right. And then, you got to edit it. And then you're going to edit it again. And then, if you add music or anything else, and then you put it out. Oh, wait, I got to make a thumbnail. So, yeah, you got a whole day. 20-minute job, No. But at the end of the day, you didn't just put an alternator in. You gave somebody an idea or help when they needed help. Somebody's looking up, how do I put in an alternator on 85? And they type it in, and bam, your video comes up. You only have 200 subs, but you help that one person.
Yep, exactly. And it's like I always say, build your dreams. That's what my whole YouTube channel is based on, helping people build their dream, not buy someone else's failed dream.
That's right.
And back to Derek, me and Derek were talking for a while. I mean, because a lot of YouTubers, we know each other. We contact with each other. And so I knew Derek. I met him not this past PRI, the PRI before. I think it was 2020, pre-PRI. And I met him out there, but I had been talking to him for like maybe a year. He was going back and forth, loved your video. He'd be like, yo, I like what you did with your video and all that. And so we were just always talking. And then finally we got in touch with each other. And we saw each other at PRI, and he told us, yeah, I got a project that I definitely want you in on, and everything. That's how that project came about.
That was a great collaboration. The whole team that he put together, there was a lot going on, but it was a great video. I mean, the whole series was awesome.
Yeah, he told me what it was going to be about, and I thought it was just so funny. I was like, let me jump my butt on a plane and go out and hang out with this cat.
Yeah.
And, the way he is, I can say this, the way he is on TV or on YouTube, that's just like how it is. I mean, it's just nonstop laughing. This guy's just, the funniest guy, and he's real. And his family, we hung out with his family. We had bonfire. We ate lunch and dinner, because I was out there for, I think we were out there for like 3 or 4 days. And, it was just fun. And we got that truck up and go.
Well, I've been trying to get him on the show for a while. After he got on Motor Trend, he did a Pontiac revival on his show. And so I did try to hit him up. And, I get it. People are busy. But one of these days, we're going to end up with Derek on the Pontiac Power Hour show.
I can guarantee it. I can guarantee that he'll definitely be interested in it. Yep. And like I said, like me being there now, when I was there, he was, well, let's see, how many subscribers? Because when I met him at PRI, he had just hit 1 million. He just hit 1 million. And so that was the November before last summer or whatever. So now he's well over 1 million. But when I went out there, he was 1 million point whatever. And his phone just kept on ringing up. His phone, I mean, like he was just like ring, 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 ring. And we went out, and we went out to town. And he's like a god. People like just like stopping and like just talking. And he talks to everyone. And he's very encouraging too. He goes, Terry, you'll get to this point. I was like, hey, if I never do, I'm cool where I'm at, But it's the thing where it's almost like a bittersweet thing, But
For
he
sure.
loves every minute of it, and he appreciates every person that comes up to him. He will sit and talk to him. And like I said, his whole family is sweet. his wife Jess. Wonderful, and we had a good time. We were out there, even though that truck that we were running in, it broke down in the middle of the highway. Now he's the guy that you're going to want to have. So you got to look at it like this: we had Josh, myself, Derek, Kevin Tetz in the middle of the Tennessee highway with the truck that broke down, and it was a little confusing because what happened was it ran out of gas, but you wouldn't think it because when you hit the Schrader valve, gas shot out. So we thought, okay, we got gas, and so maybe it's electrical. So Josh, he takes his hands and between the spark plug wire and kick it over. I was like, Josh, you really don't want to do this. You click it over, and he got shocked. And what we figured out was we put the spark plug back on, and the truck started back up, so it was under pressure or whatever. So that's why I shot out. So we had a little bit in the tank, so we were able to get to the gas station. But we gave Josh an honorable mention because he took one for the team.
Yeah,
we tried to stop him, but he's another good guy.
So, that's crazy.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of fun stuff that you want to have happen on a collaboration, and that's one thing I try to encourage all of my fellow channel guys that are in this little family here. Get out and collaborate. And I'm honestly waiting for the weather to improve, but I'm trying to get out there and do a lot more collaborations with other channels, simply because it helps everybody. I've hung out with Pole Barn Garage, of course. Hung out with Punisher over here. I went down to the machine shop where I'm having my engine worked on. I feel like you got to get out and mingle with the other channels. Not only are you going to pick up subs, but you're going to help them pick up subs as well, and just give them something a little different to look at.
No, and I'm planning a whole thing with Minnesota Outlaws. I'm planning with Lewis Lee and Long Shot Performance. We're close knit, and like you said, your guys hang out, and we're friends, and now we're gonna hang out.
Yes, we are.
You gotta get a collaboration, and even with different flavors. Like a lot of people have different flavors. I mean, like my friend Lewis Lee, who's on All Ends, and he also has it was Lewis Lee. He's building a school bus. He's actually got a Bluebird school bus. And he took the seats out, and he's building that. And my man Tyler Long from Long Shot Performance, he got a coach bus. I mean, it's like a coach bus races. Yeah, like something that you would take from New York to Atlantic City to gamble.
That seems normal.
Yeah, but he says he's going to live in this thing.
Wow,
he's going to live in this thing, and he's going to. He took the seats out, and I think he sleeps in it at this point, but he's going to finish it up. And Arco from Minnesota Outlaws, guys, they just keep on building. I mean, he's building a car from scratch. It was supposed to be at SEMA, but it's going to SEMA this year. And these guys, they got YouTube channels. You should check them out and, see what everyone's up to. Because, like, a lot of people think just because you don't have 1 million subscribers, you're not worth watching. But it's not like that. You should check out the guys that are still trying to get out there.
I remember watching Derek when he was, a little channel, but I remember watching a lot of channels that didn't have a lot of subs, but they had great content, where they had a great personality, whatever it is, or just flat out, I need to make this work because it doesn't work now. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, this guy has the video. I'm going to stop and just watch the part I need to watch and then go back to work. But it's one of those, it just depends on what your content is, what you're putting out. And, I try to watch just a complete mixture of what's out there. I've followed the car trails. Obviously, that's how I ended up watching you. I was looking at LS stuff, and I've come across this guy, and I went, well, who's this guy? And your style's a lot like my style. The stuff that you build is stuff that I would like to own. And same with Ray. That's why Ray and I get along so well. He builds stuff I'd like to have. But then you got guys that still build cool stuff, but okay, I don't know that much about carburetors, so I'm going to watch Kevin from Junkyard Digs do carburetors and brakes all day because he's entertaining when he does it. And then
he kind of looks like Derek too. I met him. We were we all, Derek, Junkyard Diggs, myself, the Boss Garage, the guy who's next to Derek, Dylan McCool.
Yep.
We were all supposed to be on this Hemmings. They're supposed to be coming out with this whole influencer thing, and we were the first 6, missing 1, and so it never came to fruition for whatever reason. But I never met Dylan, but I talked to him. I talked to Richard from the Boss Garage, and these guys are the people who like you said, you respect what they do, and they're really cool guys. They really are, and like you said, I'm more of I like the look of a muscle car. I like the muscle car, but I want the functionality of today.
Yep.
And I'm spoiled. I like amenity, so my LeMans doesn't have electric windows, but it will. And so that's my flavor. Where Derek is just like, let's get it running and let's go across country.
And see, I like that too. So that was, something I'd like to definitely do in the future. And that's why I watch a lot more channels that work on the older stuff. But my style is just like yours. No. So like Dudes with Wrenches says, I build stuff nobody wants. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to be that guy. But if you want to learn something in a short, that's the guy to watch. And unfortunately, that's been his kind of hang up, is he's got all of his subs off of shorts. But in that 60 seconds, you'll learn something that you never knew about a car, because he tells a little piece of information in every one. But going back to it, when I build a car for something I want to own, which is what I did with the 63, I want something I can run to cruise car shows, take back and forth to work. But yet, when I pull up, everybody's going to notice. And, it's going to have, I'm not touching the paint. It has got really 40 years of patina that I just can't ruin. But I put it on air. So when I pull up to the show or wherever I'm going and then lay it out, I think that makes its own statement.
And you know what it is also, you got these. I remember one time I was at ice cream from me, and it's in a ritzy area, and these guys got Ferraris and Porsches and everything like that. And this was a couple of years back. There's like a couple of Ferraris. There's a Porsche. I think there was a McLaren out there, something like that. And people, like sitting online to get their ice cream, and you could see the cars. I mean, you pull up and it's right there. And here I come with my '69 Camaro, no paint on it, some primer. Got some Boyd Junkyard Dog wheels on there. Sounding all nice with the Magna Flow sound. And I roll up, right, and I get out and I get online, right. Lady comes up with her son, right. And she goes, "Oh, Ma, look, it's a race car." Listen, I come out, unpainted.
Yep.
He likes this car over all the Ferraris.
All that money over here, he likes the one that you built.
Because he probably doesn't see that car that often.
Right.
And he was just like, the mother was like, "No, don't touch it, don't touch it." I was like, the kid's cool. You can get in the car, let him have fun with it, And the kid had a good time, like just, pretending to drive it and all that. He really loved that car. And the Ferrari guy, he goes, "So I paid like $500,000, and how much you got into your car? Maybe 30." He says, "I'm gonna look for my receipt when I go home."
Well, that's what was funny is driving cross country. I had to tow my car because it wasn't done yet whenever I took it across a couple of states. But I'd pull into the gas station and it's all laid out on the trailer. So it looks cool. And people would immediately come up to look at it. And I loved people asking questions. They wanted to know about the car. They were really fascinated. And, brand new Corvette, the new mid-engine Corvette would pull up. And people would still come over and look at my car.
No.
But then the Holy Goat would show up, the one that's all shot up full of holes, and they would go to see that car. So it doesn't really matter how much money you got into it. It's the story.
It's the stories. And again, with that '69 Camaro, I mean, like, I remember one night, oh my God, it was the funniest thing. I was helping my friend install an LS in a '67 Chevelle. And it was like maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, but I lived right around the corner. And I got my sister Camaro has an LS2 with the 6-speed. I just took the drivetrain out of 2006 GTO, slapped it right in there, got it running, and it was 3:00 in the morning. Not that I condone doing donuts, it's illegal, and usually I don't feel part of it, but like there was no one around, so I got on it, right? Fourth gear chirp, gone, right? I see headlights way in the back, and they're getting closer and closer, right? I'm like, oh man, I don't want this to be a cop. Sure enough, he pulls me over, right? And he pulls me over, and I have rolled the window down, and he says, I pulled you over. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I know why you pulled me over. And so he's looking at the car. I'm going to need your license and registration. So I give him the license, and I got to look in my glove compartment for registration, right? And as I'm looking, he's like looking at my car, and he goes, I still had the GTO gear shift. So I grafted the GTO pedals and the GTO gear shift, so it says 6-speed. So he's looking, he's like, dude, is this a 6-speed? I was like, oh yeah, I put a 6-speed LS engine in. He said, you got an LS in that? Which one? I said, it was an LS2. Now this is back like maybe I would say 2000, I'm going to say 2015, 2013, somewhere around there, because
they weren't quite everywhere at that point.
They weren't quite everywhere. So it was a car where you're like, wow. And so he goes, dude, you got to get out. I got to see this engine, right? So I get out, I show him the engine, nice little story that I told him about and all that. And he goes, like he sees my address. He goes, wait a second, are you the guy that lives on the corner with the half circle driveway and you got all those kind of, you always have really nice cars in your parking lot? I was like, yeah. And he goes, I got a 70 Mustang.
That's always a good way to start.
Yeah, he said, I got a 70 Mustang. I want the front disc. I got the front disc conversion, but I can't find someone to put that on. So that'd be something you'd be interested in. I said, dude, come on through. My name is Officer Trojan. So here's my number. Yeah. And here's your license back. And we'll be in touch. I was like, absolutely. And I called my boys the quickest. I was like, fellas, we got a cop in the fray. We got a cop in the team. So it's stories like that. I mean, was I doing something illegal? Yeah, I shouldn't have been. But
it just proves that not all the cops are out to bust you. Some of them, they're cool guys, and they just want to be car guys too.
They are car guys. Some of them, and it just goes back to what I was like saying. There's a show called United We Drive. I don't know if you've seen that.
No.
And I always felt that, I was talking to Stacey David, and he liked that because I was telling him there are 3 things that bring people together: cars, music, and love. And he goes, Terry, you forgot the 4th. I was like, what is it? He goes, food. I was like, good one.
Good one.
And I always say it, I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care what political beliefs are. I don't care what your whatever ideology you have. Once cars are into the picture, I mean, a cool car is a cool car. And I've been in situations where you would think the person would never really want to talk to me because of whatever he was wearing or maybe what he represented or something like that. But when you go to a car show, all that goes out the window. All that goes out the window, and it's just nice cars. And I remember I took my cousin to a car show one time before, and I didn't roll the windows up. I just got out the car, took the keys, and popped open the hood or whatever. He goes, "You can leave your car like that?" I was like, "This is the safest your car will ever be."
You're right.
So if someone came and was like tearing apart my car, strangers would probably give him a beat down. Strangers would stop. So your car is safe at a car show. No one's gonna, I'm not talking about one of those car shows where you got these guys doing donuts in the middle of the intersection or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like a car show where you get out, you can enjoy yourself, you take your kid to get a hot dog or whatever. So I'm talking about car shows like that. And he was just amazed. I was just like, well, it's a car show. Everyone has the same interests and the same thoughts, and it's all about the cars and making friends.
That's definitely what the old No Name Nationals was all about last year. I literally left, I had a fold-out table, and it was under the awning there, and I put every tool I could think of out on this table, entire tool sets and hammers and pliers, everything.
That's cool.
I left it the whole way. So anybody could come and get whatever they needed while they were there. I left because I had all the cases that had, the form fitting and everything went back in a spot. I left with every tool I came with. And it's because it's the same mentality. You show up, nobody's touching your stuff. They may come and borrow something, but they'll bring it back.
They'll bring it back. It's like an unwritten brotherhood, sisterhood. And
We're all car
that's
guys.
why. Exactly.
I'm not going to leave the ladies out. There's some
you can't leave the ladies out. The
women
ladies
out
are
there
doing it.
stuff.
The ladies are doing it. And no, I just love the whole culture. And I knew at an early age that in order for me to get some, because here, I mean, we got winters, so it's a fair weather car. You're not driving a car, like every day. Like I go out to California, I see these guys, their everyday cars are Chevelles. I'm like, you go to work and he said, yeah, this is my everyday car. It's the only car I got. I'm like, well, good. That's what I'm talking about. For me, it's a fair weather car. And there's no way I can go and just drop like 70, 60 G's on a fair weather car. And so I figured I better learn how to build these cars, because you can buy them for cheap and you can, like put the money in over time or get endorsements but you can't, I could never, I wouldn't even think about that. I can't fathom, I'm just going to go and spend this $70,000 on a half-built, Chevelle, no. No.
That's what's crazy to me, and I get how quickly it adds up. I had a guy stop me in the parking lot the other day to tell me all about his cars that he owns, and I'm like, how do you even know me? And he's like, oh, I watched your channel. And I went, oh, someone local here is watching my channel, it turns out. But as we're sitting there talking for 20 minutes, he tells me about this nut and bolt rotisserie complete restoration he did. It took him 7 years. And I was like, that's awesome. I said, how much you got in it? And he kind of told me the price and everything. And I went, that's just not something that's more than what I paid for my house. So it's nothing against it. It's a gorgeous car. But like you said, it's going to sit and not be driven a lot. And I said, I have, the 63. And he goes, yeah, I wanted to see it. And I said, it's sitting in my driveway. And he goes, but it just snowed. I went, it sat out for 40 years. A little snow ain't going to hurt it.
No.
The worst thing I could ever do is announce next week that I'm painting the car, because they would probably, break the internet telling me not to paint the car. It has to look like that.
That'll get the snubs up.
We're going to do it was a pole barn garage. We're going to, use barn or tractor paint and repaint the Grand Prix. Oh my gosh. It would break the internet.
No, it would definitely break it, and like I said,
painting his car like rainbow striped or something. I don't see it.
Well, the Cuda, they came out with that Cuda with the rainbow stripe. You might see the picture of it, where it's like a thin stripe of every color that they had on. I think it was like 70 Cuda.
The paint chip Cuda.
Yep.
It was beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I can't see Ray's car pulling that one off.
Yeah. But Ray got that LeMans. I like that LeMans that Ray got. I like your Grand Prix too. Your Grand Prix. I like that.
Yep. I got a couple of them now. I guess I'm just collecting Grand Prix now.
Well, what year is your favorite?
My favorite, 63.
Yeah. 63?
I mean, I can't. I have the 63, and after looking at all the others, there's nothing wrong with any of them. I really like this 98 GTP. It's cool.
That's a beautiful car.
Style,
yeah.
But for style and for me, cruising through town, parking and just slamming it down on air, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
I don't care what engine I have in it. It's going to always sit on air ride, because it's great. I love it.
I guess my favorite Grand Prix, now let me think about this for a second. 68 was the last year of that long style, right? And then they went to the short year. See, I like the 72. The last year before they went to like the longer style. My brother had a 74 with it was a beautiful Grand Prix. It had it was burgundy with a white Landau roof, white gut. It had a moonroof in there, and it was that car was, for its time, that was a beautiful car. And, it also had, I believe it had the swivel seat where you can, you turn to get out. I believe it had that option. And I still remember that car, 74. It was a 74. And I thought that was the sweetest car. I wish I could find a 74 and I would surprisingly build it for him. Of course, throw an LS and you know,
Yeah.
But those things are
Oh,
again hard to find.
72 SJ 455. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Let's
the one.
find one of those.
Yeah, that's a
Here you
harder
go.
one. I just
Dude,
thought that
the
was a
trivia
beautiful car.
73 to 77 had swivel seats. This guy knows his cars.
Was it dude with wrenches? Yeah. It was a 74. It had a swivel seat. It also, I remember my neighbor, now that I think about it, he had what was that car? It was a Grand Am. It had the squishy nose. He had, I think it was really a 70, I'm not sure, it had to be a 76, 75, because it was like a bicentennial car. I think it was 75 or 76. And it had the squishy nose, it had the louvers in the back window, and again, it had that swivel out seat. And I just looked at it, I was like, why can't all cars have this? But
Yep.
My aunt had a 77 Malibu that had those swivel. It was red with a white top and white leather seats. And I just remember that we'd do that. We'd want to argue over who could sit up front so we could get out the car.
Even when I think about it, I mean, that whole 73, that, the whole GM, the Cutlass Sierra, the Cutlass Salon, the Grand Prix, the Monte Carlo, Buick had what was the Buick? The Regal.
Yep.
All of those, they were just pretty cars back then.
Yeah. And I tell you, I was looking on Marketplace the other day, and I can't remember what it was. It was either a Buick or an Oldsmobile popped up, and the outside looked fine, but the description said interior needs redone. Well, then there was a shot of the interior, and we're talking grandma's couch style interior. This thing was just pillow soft from one end to the other, and it was faded, but I didn't see any rips or tears or anything, and I went, that interior is perfect. Like, I could get in that and take a nap. That's your going to town and falling asleep driving car.
That was a cruising car right there. Yeah. Yep. That was a beautiful car. Again, if I could find one, that would be a project. That would be something that I would consider doing, like a Grand Prix or something like that.
Yep.
Because when you see them, they're not beat. They still left classy. Whereas you see like a Monte Carlo SS. I love like a 85 Monte Carlo SS. Those cars are just, although there's one down the street that's just been sitting there, it hasn't been beat yet. So
yeah,
those Grand Nationals, those Montes, they're just, oh my God. I mean, I just see what these kids are doing to them. Some of them look really good, but these guys are just, oh my God, they're beating the snot out of these cars. And that's what they're for. That's good. You built them up that way.
Oh, I run the shit out of mine.
Yeah,
I like to hear the wastegate.
Got a heavy foot. I kind of do the same thing.
I figure if I get pulled over,
hearing that car come up on power, it's just so cool.
I figure if I get pulled over, that's what I'll tell the cop. Man, I just wanted to hear the wastegate. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So now let me ask you guys: turbos or superchargers? Which one do you guys prefer?
See, I like both, but I have a turbo car now. I kind of like to have a supercharger on it. I'd like to put an LSA on it.
So I want to build a turbo car. In fact, the all-wheel drive Trans Am I'm working on right now. My plan is if Ray ever
you said an all-wheel drive Trans Am? What year?
3rd gen, 82.
That was the first year they came out.
Yep.
Yeah, the first year they came out with that body style.
Yep.
It's
not what you think. It's the garbage junkyard all-wheel drive. So I'm taking a 2005 Chevy Suburban, not the frame, just the guts.
Okay.
I'm pulling all the guts. So front axle, rear axle, transfer case, transmission, and then I've got a 6-liter down at Ed's Machine in Arkansas that he's going to try to fix for me. And it's out of an Escalade, so it's that LQ9 6-liter.
LQ9, yeah.
We're going to mate all that together and basically run it till something breaks, and then we'll fix it and run it till it breaks again. And
that's how you figure out the weak points.
And that's the goal is I want it to still be selectable out of all-wheel drive so that I could sit and do a burnout if I want to. But
so that Escalade, it had like a shift on all-wheel drive or something like that?
So the Escalade's just where the engine came from. I'm taking the transfer case out of that Suburban. So the Suburban has all-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, 4 low, 4 high. So I could, in theory, be all-wheel drive, or I could be in, 2-wheel drive mode. But my goal is to just make it launch. So if it's got a lot of power and all 4 are turning, yeah, something's going to break. But if it doesn't break, oh my gosh, it's going to launch.
It's going to launch. I mean, it'll break if it connects, if it hooks up. But there's nothing wrong with it.
And the best part about it is if I say I'm building an all-wheel drive Trans Am, it's going to do just like it did for you. You're going to stop and go, wait, what? All-wheel drive what? Yeah.
And you're going to make it not look like an all-wheel. You're not going to make it high. You're going to make it look like an all-wheel drive.
Correct. It's going to sit down like a Trans Am should.
I see. That's kind of cool.
It's that's what I do. A lot of cutting.
Yeah. Oh no, you're gonna
that. A lot of cutting.
Oh yeah, you're gonna spend some time on that one. It's like my trail.
200 some days left before it's got to be done. Yeah, no problem. I think I got about 200 some days left before it has to be done.
Are you videotaping it?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's what's going to take the long part. I mean, like if you were just sitting there working, you could have it done by tomorrow. But you got to do the editing and all that, Yeah, that's why I got rid of my. I actually got rid of my all-wheel drive Trailblazer because I have a Trailblazer, but I got rid of the all-wheel drive mechanism in there because it was the front diff broke, and and I was just like, I could do it. And at the time, I was like, okay, it broke. We're going to put an LSA on this thing. Let's get some heads in here. And it was easy to take the engine somewhat to the side and pull that front diff out. But I was, sometimes I wish I should have, put it back and have the all-wheel drive. But doing burnouts and all that, that's awfully great. It's awfully great.
Yeah,
donuts and all that. Not that the truck didn't do donuts before, but when you have all-wheel drive, it's going to want to launch more so than break loose.
If I can definitely get all 4 spinning. No Name Nationals has a Australian style burnout competition. It would be cool to do that as long as it doesn't break. If it does break, then that's stuck. But
then the party's over. And how much power do you think you're going to be pushing in this engine?
I don't know yet. It's 300 and some factory, but we have already talked about what we're doing with it, so it's not going to be anywhere close to factory. So we're definitely going to get up there, and then if Ray helps me with the turbos, it won't be probably as much power as his because I don't want to break everything on the first pass. But
no, you want to definitely.
What do you think, Ray? At least 450, 500?
At least 550.
See, he's already got me at past 500. So
yeah, once that thing spools up, you talking about twin turbos?
Whatever I can get is what I'm putting in it because I'm a true junkyard builder. I take scrap that nobody else wants, and that's what I build with.
Yeah,
unless one of those sponsors wants to come out, give me a T-shirt and sponsor me.
Look at he's like Poncho Power.
Yeah. Hey, that reminds me.
Wow, these guys really are. These guys really, really want the Pontiac engine. Look at that. This is the flat tire he's talking about. Like he's a 421. He's got a 389, 400, and 455. Look at him.
We got to talk about our sponsors. So hold on 1 minute.
Go for it.
All right, guys. Welcome back. We've got Pontiac Trivia sponsored by Super Clean. We've got Terry Coverman 66 Wilson here on the show. And we want to thank Super Clean for always sponsoring the show. And Terry, you're going to send me your address, and Super Clean will send you out a prize pack just for participating.
Ooh.
You clean up that LeMans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean that LeMans out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we threw the trivia together with your newest build in mind. So with that, we're going to start with the first questions. As always, guys, in the chat, we want you to answer the question in the chat and see who has the, most consistent right answer. Because some guys are really good at this and some guys aren't. And especially if we throw a concept in there, then it really upsets Hunter. But that's all right. Okay, so in 1969, the Pontiac LeMans 350 engine increased its horsepower by using the heads from what other famous Pontiac engine? Was it the A, 250 overhead cam I6 or straight 6, B, 389 tri-power, C, 400 Ram Air 3, or D, 455 HO? Let's see what you guys think. Oh, wow. They're blowing it up already. We got Dakota and Tim with C. Sean's Garage says C, which is our 400 Ram Air 3. Irish says a 389 Tri-Power. Ugly Truck says 400. Flat Tire says 400. They're just blowing us up. 38 POS Racing has 389. You guys are just everywhere.
There's more C's than anything.
Yeah, we're consistent on the C. So let's see what the answer is. It is C, 400 Ram Air 3. They 265 horsepower, 2-barrel, and 330 horsepower, 4-barrel, 10 horsepower increase on those 68 engines due to the different cam, plus the use of the number 48 big valve heads, which was on the Ram Air 3 400. Terry knew that one. I saw you shaking your head. You knew that one.
I got lucky.
Hey, I stumped Steve Maggs, so I felt pretty good that day.
Oh.
That's a tough one to stump Steve. All right, so for all you Pontiac guys that know everything there is, or maybe a DeLorean guy, I don't know, what year did John DeLorean leave as Pontiac's chief to lead Chevrolet? Is it 1966?
This is tough. This is tight.
1969, 1970, 1972. Wow, we got a whole lot of D's. Everybody's pretty adamant it's D.
I gotta go with C.
Cousin Mike says C. Terry says C.
Yeah.
38 says C. Hunter says DMC. Well, no, yeah. Sean's Garage with a 69. And poor Todd's just, he doesn't know. Flat tires and misfires. If you ever want to see a power stroke in a Pontiac, that's your man. I'm telling you. That is a cool car. Whole lot of D's. And the answer is actually B. So good job, Sean's Garage. You were the one and only B. 1969, he took his leave from Pontiac to go and run Chevrolet.
His whole career went downhill after that.
That went right down.
He had to do a little something to keep going.
Oh, man.
Dakota says, I choose to dispute. Well, his influence was still there, but his presence was not. All right, so sticking with the 69 theme, what was the starting price of the Pontiac LeMans convertible? Now this is tough because inflation does its thing here, but was it $1,998, $2,244? Was it $2,896? Or D, $3,054?
I'm going with C.
I'm gonna go with C also.
I sent you this, Ray. You should know the answer.
I glanced through it, man.
Okay.
Besides, that was like, 10 hours ago or 5 hours ago.
KSO with the C. Cousin Mike's got the D. Dakota says C. Irish C. They're just all over the place. Let's just see what it is. It is C. Now remember, it's a convertible, so $3,054 got you the convertible Pontiac LeMans, which, by the way, that is a gorgeous car.
That is a really beautiful car.
But that is only $24,698 in 2023 dollars. I'm telling you right now, could you buy a car half as beautiful as that in 2023 from a dealership for only $24,000? I just don't see it.
I don't think you can get a Volt for that.
The problem is, you said a beautiful car, and there's only a handful of those because everything's an SUV that looks the same.
This is true. I feel like they kind of took one mold and just changed badges on all of them.
That is a beautiful car.
D for the win. Dudes with wrenches. All right, guys. Once again, in 1969, how many total Pontiac LeMans cars were produced? Was it A, 100,001, Was it B, 89,366, C, 68,475, or D, 45,960?
This is tough. I'm gonna go with C. I'm gonna go with
We'll
C.
go B.
Oh, let's see. A Cove says A. Jay from Irish Outlaw says C. By the way, guys, Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage is going to do his Cars and Cussin' live right after Pontiac Power Hour. So stick around 9:05 and watch for Irish Outlaw Garage going live. All right, we've got more D's and C's and A's. These guys are all over the place again. Danny Boyd says it's A or B. Here's the key. Total Pontiac LeMans cars. And the answer is A, 100,001. It was a very popular year for Pontiac, and the 69 made so many different versions of the Le Mans. There you go.
Man, I want that wagon.
Yeah.
That wagon's cool.
Who doesn't want that wagon? It's gorgeous. You know, you type in 69 Le Mans, and I know, Terry, you got to know this. The array of colors and styles and doors and just amazing.
Yeah, they so you know what it is? It's an underrated car and it's an underdog.
And, and there's a problem. Jay says I usually only count 2 doors. No, Le Mans was everywhere. You got 4 doors, wagons, all of it. So don't forget,
coupes. Yeah,
they're still all Le Mans. I've actually seen people take this Le Mans and convert it to like a GTO front end, and that's not ugly either. But I really like it.
Actually nice. That's actually nice. Now, would a Tempest be in the Le Mans family?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, was that my last one? That was my last one. Cool. I kept it short and sweet because I wanted more time to talk to Terry. But thank you guys for playing the trivia. Don't forget, Super Clean is our sponsor. We thank them every week. Terry's going to get a free Super Clean pack just for participating today. Jay says most of these were derbied. Well, yeah. And I actually talked to the gentleman that I got my car from. I said, how come you don't have 4 doors and wagons? And he said the main reason was back in the day, everyone would pull the front clips off of these 4 doors and wagons, and then I'd end up scrapping the rest. Because the guy I got my car from is a scrapper. That's all he does was scrap cars. And he goes, everyone would pull the front clip off to go put on some other 2-door car, and then he'd end up scrapping the rest, the whole body. It's just sad. A lot of good cars got scrapped because they had too many doors.
So Terry, I have a question for you.
Sure.
I was watching your video, and you looked genuinely surprised when that Le Mans fired right up after you put fresh fuel to it. So that was the legitimate first fire up on that car.
That was it was like I said, I tried to start. It turned over. It wasn't even stuck because the first thing you want to do is take spark plugs out and try to, turn the motor over to make sure. And that's what I did. So I was like, okay, cool. Put spark plugs back in, and then I jug it. I was like, okay, cool. And then I went back and I was like, let me just change the oil because I don't want to put that old oil through there. Change the oil. I think I changed the spark plugs. It had an HEI distributor, so I didn't have to change any points. And like I said, I was going to put gas down the manifold, but I was just like, last thing I need for this thing to woof. So I was like, let me just put this carburetor back on because before I was going to put the gas down, I looked and I said, oh, the carburetor's right there. And I'm thinking, why would the carburetor be in the back seat? So I was like, okay, I got some gasket shellac. The gasket looked somewhat decent. Put it on. I was like, okay, let's try to start this thing up. And I was surprised because I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a hassle to start that thing up, but it turned right over. I was like, wow. And I was like, the Pontiac Power.
Yep.
Sounded good too.
Yeah. I actually really like it. So, I really want a 389 or even a 421 in my car, but I wouldn't be opposed to maybe borrowing the one you got when you decide to LS swap yours. Just saying.
Make a trip. Make a trip. Make a
I'll
trip.
make a trip.
Because the thing is that my buddy gave me a 4-barrel, a Pontiac 4-barrel manifold, original Pontiac. Because what did he do with his car? Did he wants to do an LS, but he got another engine, some type of engine, but he wants to put LS in it. So he says, just take the manifold. So I took the manifold, and I have like a Edelbrock 600, which I think will be more than enough for that particular engine. And so you may be seeing a video of me swapping it out, and who knows, before I go and do the LS swap, because I'm building the LS right now. So I got the rotating assembly from Summit. I got a 402, and I also got a 408. So one of them, the Pontiac's going to probably get that 408 with an LSA on it.
All right. Well, we've reached our 1 hour. I want to make sure everybody's got Terry's channel is in the chat. Go check him out. Watch this build. Go check out all of his videos because he's got some great stuff. I
appreciate it.
Go look at all those collaborations. Like we talked about, he's collaborated with Vice Grip Garage and several others. He does some great stuff. And, I'm just thankful, Terry, that you decided to come on Pontiac Power Hour with us. We have enjoyed having you. You are definitely, one of my new car friends. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you, Buff and Ray, and everyone in the chat room. Thank you for taking time out to let me talk to you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we will definitely work really hard to get you back, Terry. It's been a great hour, but we got to head out, guys. Don't forget to head over to Irish Outlaw Garage and his live coming up in 5, and we will see you guys next week.
Take care, everyone.